Where's it good? There it goes. Oh, everybody, welcome. Sci-Fi Sunday, Halloween Sci-Fi Sunday, Conga Line Sci-Fi Sunday. And today, I am joined here by my good pal, Marty from Trash Picture Show. My other good pals, Jen, Christian of Jen's Reviews from the Grave. And today we're talking mad science. We're talking mad scientists, movies, television shows. Guys, mad scientists. First thoughts on just this topic being the topic.
Mad scientists. They're crazy. It's really, they kind of with Frankenstein or Stein. How do you say it?
Yeah.
They're part of Halloween tradition, all the way back to that. The monster and his mad scientist, and people wanting to create things and bring things back to life and from the dead. It's kooky. It's crazy. It's Halloween for sure.
Yeah, fucking love it.
Yeah,
Marty, what are your thoughts initially on mad scientists?
They go together. Horror and mad scientists go together like ice cream and cake. I mean, it's no kind of accident or coincidence that one of the first science fiction stories was also a horror. Postmodern Prometheus, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. You can't get any madder than fucking Victor Frankenstein, like.
no,
Yeah, like what a cool concept. Starting with the obvious one, Frankenstein. What a cool concept that is. Man creating man, breathing life into death, and it was man creating man created by a woman, which is pretty damn cool, especially for the time.
Yeah, it was. Well, women do kind of create life. I guess we need your help to some degree. But we are kind of the life givers. And I think it's also man's fascination to cheat death. I think that's, since we've been cave people, I think we people have wanted to find a way to cheat death. And I think that's where a lot of the driven to bring things back.
Yeah. Creating life where there once was death.
Yeah, exactly. And to be God.
Yeah,
and let's face it.
Because he had a God complex.
Yeah.
As most mad scientists do, at least the good ones.
Yeah, it's definitely a God complex. Humankind is very vain, and we want that power. We want to taste. Usually they say man can't make anything; they can only destroy. It's a better, but that's the general idea of it. And we're just wanting to play God, basically.
Yeah, it's summed up perfectly in Frankenstein. That deleted and then later restored line. By God, now I know what it is like to be God.
And they took that out of the movie for a long time, did they not?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was
because
out
they
of the
considered
film.
it blasphemous. Yeah. I think. So.
Yes, and they didn't want to offend audiences. But I'm glad it got restored. It's in the book. It's in the movie. It needs to be there.
Yeah, it does. That's kind of the whole point of the book, really, and or at least a chunk of it. Mm-hmm. At least a chunk of it. So yeah, it's you can't really. There's no more obvious mad scientist besides Frankenstein.
Yeah, he's the goat. He's the pattern that like all mad scientists are basically patterned after.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's kind of the template for it. You really can't go. But there have been others. Would you say Lovecraftian is kind of a mad scientist, the way he creates his monsters, or would that be too far of a jump?
To a degree, some of his stories definitely follow scientists, but he was more interested in like journalists discovering the truth, and was more his focus.
I always thought because he created some of those creatures, he was kind of in a weird way a different kind of Franken. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I'd give Jane a bit more leeway in the fact that, like, Herbert West, H.P. Lovecraft's first name was Herbert. I think there's a lot of traits, this antisocial and NPOC of an individual who isn't really the norm with society back then and even now, and just the fact that you have a dude telling all these tales of kind of mysticism. I think, is it Isaac Asimov said, to the uneducated, science is magic to someone else. And I think the way Lovecraft looked at his stuff, these were higher civilizations and societies that were created. So yeah, I can see where you're coming from 100%. Jen.
Thank you.
Appreciate it,
I'm
Deacon.
way bigger Lovecraftians. I just am someone. I'm a voyeur. You guys are the actual knowledge ones.
But there certainly have been a lot of mad scientists. In fact, here's a very short list of mad scientists.
A very short list.
Very short list. I only filled up one page. I was feeling sleepy. But yeah, you got Frankenstein, and of course, you can't talk about Dr. Baron Victor von Frankenstein, Count Frankenstein in 1 or 2 movies. That's
or Frankenstein if you're Mel Brooks.
Yeah.
Frankenstein. But you can't talk about him without talking about Dr. Pretorius from Frankenstein, who might actually be crazier than Frankenstein himself. This guy sits in crypts and toasts to skulls. This guy's mad.
Living the life, living the dream.
Would he be considered goth or emo for talking to skulls?
I don't know. He's just kind of a weird, crazy man. You know, just hanging out.
I didn't know if he would be the
doesn't enjoy the company of the living, rather hang around the company of the dead. You know.
Yeah.
The dude is putting fucking Lilliputians into fucking petri jars.
That too.
Growing little people. Amazing.
Yep, little people in jars.
And not like dwarves size, but like actual little Barbie-sized people. It's crazy. And of course, it's worth noting that Dr. Pretorius is not the only mad scientist to be named Dr. Pretorius. We have an H.P. Lovecraft endeavor. We got From Beyond with Dr. Pretorius. Imagine that.
Crazy.
I like to think they're related distantly, and it's like in the same universe.
I'm with that. Yeah,
yeah, I do too.
I like that idea.
Yeah, I've kind of always said that too.
Which, of course, not creating tiny Barbie people, but creating extrasensory. What was it? A vibrator? No, that's not the right thing. That's not the right term at all.
There
wasn't a vibrator.
That's a thing.
Yeah.
It was a resonator, not a vibrator. To see
although in the Lovecraft, in the adaptation of From Beyond, it might as well have been. Barbara Compton was quick to get out of her clothes when she was around that fucking bit.
What about the hard-ons?
What about the hard-ons?
That's got to be one of the funniest lines because I just never saw it coming the first time. But I'm like, what?
It definitely catches you off guard.
Not me.
Of course not.
Jen is always thinking about the hard-ons.
Yes, she is.
Passion.
It is what it is. It is what it is. You know. But that's a great movie right there, folks. If you haven't seen From Beyond, it's you got to see it. You know.
Yeah, it's definitely one.
Super underrated.
It basically mixes all the best elements. Like
it takes all of the best elements from Stuart Gordon's previous Lovecraft adaptation, just throws them all into a big mixing pot.
Yeah,
and it comes out great.
Yeah,
and you get Jeffrey Combs with a little fucking anglerfish antenna sticking out of his head. Gotta love it.
Pineal gland. That's the pineal gland, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Which always reminds me of Leech Woman because they're trying to harvest the juice from the pineal gland.
Mm-hmm.
So I always make that connection, even though the two films have nothing to do with each other whatsoever. But you guys have seen Leech Woman, right? I'm sure you have.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's a classic.
But no, mad scientists. It's crazy. You got Dr. Pretorius creating a resonator, and getting in all sorts of trouble, pineal glanding it up. And then, of course, you've got Dr. Pretorius drinking to skulls, growing people, which is not unlike another doctor who has little people, friggin' Dr. Cyclops, or AKA Dr. Thorkel.
This one I feel you would have more to say on than me.
I'm trying to remember the movie. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I know that name sounds familiar.
He shrinks people.
I've probably seen this movie. I know I've probably seen it. I can't remember anything about it though.
So 2 people get stranded, and they meet up with Dr. Cyclops there. That's not his name, but whatever. And surprise, he shrinks them and then releases them into the jungle.
Nice.
Really tiny size.
That sounds super familiar, but I can't place it.
I don't know.
Well, people in a jungle, that would be problematic.
Yeah.
You have to worry about regular sized animals in a jungle. Now you've everything.
It was Honey, I Shrunk the Kids before the kids. It's Honey, I Shrunk the Tourists. It's great.
Oh,
great one.
They probably ripped it off.
Probably.
There's a similarity. There's a similarity there.
Fucking Disney takes everything.
That's true. They do.
But no, it's a decent movie. It's not the best, but it's not the worst by far. Fun fact: it's referenced in a Roger Corman film called The Wasp Woman.
I love The Wasp Woman. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I love the story behind that movie is crazier than the actual movie.
Oh yeah, like that movie's wild. Like the reference comes in when 2 receptionists, not secretaries, are sitting at the desk. One's filing her nails, and the other's just sitting at the desk. Phone rings. It's her boyfriend. Hey, guess what? Dr. Cyclops is on Channel 9 tonight.
Nice.
Cool.
But definitely cool. Definitely very cool. More recent, and I guess not like super recent, but in the 80s, we got some unlikely mad scientists that weren't really scientists, but they did some mad scientist shit. We had Gary and Wyatt in Weird Science.
I was wondering if that's where you were going.
Weird
Science. I was wondering. Anthony Michael Hall, wonderful movie. John Hughes takes a different play on Frankenstein. Basically, it's alive. They don't, and they wear it on their sleeve. You see that scene in the background. It's alive. It's alive. And I always thought that was cool as a kid that they were taking a Barbie doll.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, they do, and they wear panties, and they have to put bras and panties on their heads because, of course, they do, because that's magic. Again, it's not so much science; it's magic. They're taking little bits and pieces. It's a funny movie. It's a good movie. It's kind of one that's time is forgotten unless you're an '80s kid, though. It's kind of a shame.
Yeah, it's a gem. It's a gem of a film. I love that scene. With the bras on their heads, it's Wyatt turns to Gary. He's like, Gary? It's like, yeah. Why are we wearing bras on our heads? He's like, it's ceremonial.
Yeah, I love that line as a kid.
My favorite character in that, Bill Paxton's Chet.
Oh,
what
yeah.
a wonderful asshole. And to be turned into a living pile of shite at the end was perfect.
Yeah.
I love you, bros. Yeah, he was a bastard in that movie. He was. And it's also about the underdogs. It's about,
as most John Hughes movies were.
Yeah, but I think that's also kind of a page for mad scientists, because they're kind of the outsiders. Everyone thinks they're crazy. Yeah. They can't see a vision that they can only see something that no one else can see. So that's also kind of a theme with mad scientists, is the outsiders and the crazy ones.
Yeah, they're the shunned doctors of our society, bringing corpses to life and making strange mutant beasts.
And I think any man would want a hot girl to bring them to life, wouldn't you? If you had the opportunity, if I had that.
No.
Really?
No.
Why?
Too much fucking work.
Marty, you'd want to do it, right? If you had a Barbie doll line.
Also, that brings up so many questions about like consciousness and if it's a sex slave or not, and just no.
Well, they never made her a sex slave in the movie.
Well,
They had their clothes on when they took a shower, as a matter of fact.
I know, but still.
What the hell? Okay, I'm having technical difficulties with the sun here.
Uh-oh.
There you. That's a little better.
She can't hold it like that the whole time, though.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. Do you have a sheet or a towel or something?
I got nothing.
Nothing.
Mother. Did I mention I hate it here?
Do you want to come in and come out, try to fix it, and we can
We can hold over for you.
Yeah. Do you want to try to figure out something? We can hold it over for you for a minute.
Let me just move my chair.
Okay.
Okay, excellent.
Cool. But no, I mean, wouldn't you guys want like to take a Barbie doll and and do
No, I
that?
don't. I would not want to get
Jane,
the
can I
Barbie
use
doll
my
conscious.
dolls? Can I use my figures?
Sure. Yeah, you got a lot. You could really make something hot because you've got a
Oh,
lot.
could I make a harem?
Sure. Yeah. Why didn't they do that? Marty brings up a good question.
This is just asking for Puppet Master to happen. That's all I'm saying. That you're just asking for Puppet Master or demonic toys to happen at this
Would
point.
Puppet Master? That's an interesting thing you brought up. Would that be because
Well, he wasn't a scientist.
Well,
He stole it from Nazi scientists, and it was more of a magic thing with Puppet Master.
True, but I mean, they kind of. Oh, you see the overlap, right?
can
And
see
like
that.
he is bringing life to these puppets.
I can see that. It's more magic, though.
Yeah. Well, magic and science.
Sure.
They're some people potato.
Fair enough.
Oh, dear Lord. All right, well, man.
You okay?
This is just... No, I'm not okay. The sun is friggin' killing me here. I got a door here. I got a door here. I got everything in here. We were having good flow until the sun changed position.
There's scientists again. Fuck you, Archimedes. You piece
Damn
of
it.
shit.
Well, he's just coming back to fuck with everyone today.
Hey, Jennifer Tochi.
Hey,
Yo,
Jen.
Jen.
Welcome.
She wants to know who's dissing John Hughes.
Nobody's dissing John Hughes.
It was Christian, Jen. It
Why
was
are you
Christian.
dissing me? I'm not
Jennifer
dissing John
Tochi.
Hughes.
It was Christian.
What the fuck? Kind of was.
I wasn't dissing John Hughes.
You don't like weird science
I
much.
do. It's actually my favorite John Hughes movie.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Jennifer, he was saying that John Hughes promotes sex slavery.
Yeah, you kind
okay,
of.
I did kind of say that one. I'll own up. I did kind of say John Hughes is.
But I mean, really, they weren't. It was a sweet movie.
I guess the thing that I always find weird about weird science is somebody on that team was a fan of Hills Have Eyes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because
Because of that.
Michael Berryman turns up as one of the mutant bikers, right?
Yeah, and he's wearing his exact same outfit from Hills. It always throws me through a loop every time I notice it.
It gives.
Yeah,
it
that's a direct reference.
Mm-hmm. He's wearing the exact same outfit from Hills. It's very weird.
Okay, I think I've got this sorted, guys. Sorry about that. That was fucking
You're all good.
It happens. It happens.
sudden and unexpected. Thank you, Mr.
All part of the fun of
Sunshine.
being life.
Yep.
You can't. It's part of the fun.
Oh yeah, but no, it's the friggin' train of thought and all, but weird science. It's great movie.
Christian says it's a sex
I
slave.
didn't say that. I just said it's, I wouldn't do it. Not my
Well,
thing.
although they didn't really use her for yeah, no, they never actually had sex with her though.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were.
Jennifer says Christian Zabini, Lisa was in charge in that movie.
Yeah, she kind of.
Fair enough.
She was like the hotter Frankenstein. But and that's another thing. Men always, I guess you do bring up a good point. Like, is this a thing of men wanting to control women?
Well,
even though that movie does not depict that, is that kind of what
Or
you're?
there's even like the fan theory that with the original Frankenstein, Victor was making the monster for him, which kind of was touched on with Rocky Horror, that he was gay and making the monster for him.
Yeah, there is a subtext.
Yeah, so there's always been this overlying subtext of the scientists making the creatures for them to have sex with.
That's hot.
Yeah.
but they didn't have sex with her at all. Lisa did not get. Nope. She did not get. They did her aerobics workout, and then they passed out, and she put her panties on Wyatt. I don't know why.
Why? That was
maybe it's strictly a comfort thing. Okay, all right, cool.
It was the 80s. It was the 80s.
Yeah.
Which funny story about the actress who plays Lisa. She sort of went mental, and like she moved out into the middle of nowhere on a ranch and sleeps under the stars with her horse.
Yep.
Yeah, I heard that. She also, I know, just had a real struggle with her weight. She was up and down for a long time because that was kind of her thing. She was a real beautiful, well, she still is, real beautiful girl, but she did have trouble. Like her weight thing was, it was up and down. I think she was one of those people that she could look at something and gain 5 pounds. So.
Yeah, it's one of those things, you know, when you're in a visual medium like film or modeling, you know, you're getting your picture taken all the time. You're going to be obsessed with that, and you're gonna struggle. You'll have struggles.
Yeah, it sucks because it was a good movie.
Very good movie. That would explain why I haven't seen her in anything else.
You brought up another good one. Would Frankenfurter be considered a mad scientist?
Oh, absolutely. It's just, you know, it's just delightful Frankenstein played by Tim Curry, you know.
And I apparently agree because the very first name on the list is Frankenfurter.
Nice.
Ooh. So what makes Frankenfurter so awesome?
Because it's Tim Curry.
Well, besides that,
just it's Tim fucking Curry playing like a fucking a cross-dressing mad scientist, you
from
know?
space.
From space.
He's a transvestite from the planet Transsexual. From the planet Transylvania in the galaxy Transsexual.
Yep.
Why did you hate Meatloaf so much?
Because Meatloaf was like the jealous ex.
And it's a great film, and it's one of those films you got to bring out every Halloween and watch.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's spooky, but not spooky, and it's a musical, and it's science fiction. It's science fiction, and it's got everything. It's got everything. Absolutely everything.
Does this movie mix science and erotica together? Because no one ever thinks science is sexy.
Well, see, weirdly, I always do, because like maybe it's just because it's a trope in a lot of the media I consume. But like the nymphomaniac scientist is kind of a thing in fiction a lot of the time. That's just sex crazed.
I think Cronenberg would be more. Cronenberg stuff would be more pseudo sexual science.
Yeah.
But it's definitely, definitely sexy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course. And so talking about that, talking about maybe we'll stick with something else that's sort of not recent, was recent, not recent, but now it's recent again. I wouldn't have thought of this right off the bat, but Marty did a great promo for this episode of Sci-Fi Sunday, and damn, he featured Jurassic Park in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like there's a great line in the movie. What was it? Ellie Statler's like Ian Malcolm's like God creates man, man kills God. Man creates dinosaurs. Dinosaurs eat man. Woman inherits the earth. I love that line. But yeah, no, it's just, it's like, it's not just the ramifications and the danger. It's like, these things could eat us, but have we a right to do that? Have we a right to fucking bring back something that it wasn't our fault that it went extinct? It was nature. Nature naturally selected this animal to be dissipated, and we're bringing it back. So we are like, someone could see it as altruistic, but for someone else it could be like, yeah, this is you're making the natural world, you're damaging it by bringing back deadly and invasive species. And it's just, I like that. And just Jeff Goldblum's monologues throughout the movies about like chaos and how we like to think just because we're scientists and humans are scientists and we can calculate and quantify things that we know the outcome. That's not the case. You don't always know what's going to come out of Pandora's box once you lift the lid. And I think that's the great thing about the Jurassic Park movies. Like, it's don't get me wrong, I like dinosaurs running around chasing and eating people. But it's at the same time, it begs the question, like, why is our hubris? Why have we this urge to kind of like fuck around with nature?
Because it is in our nature. Because that's kind of the dichotomy of being human. We want to be God again. That's a great point, Marty. That because we do want to fuck around. And are we better? Like, whether you're religious or not, do we know better than God, or do we know better than nature? To some people, that's the same thing. To some people, it's different. But do we know better? And some of us in our arrogance think we do. And sometimes, intellectual capacity doesn't necessarily mean you're smart. You can be super smart and still not know everything, like you pointed out. There are always wild cards. There are always unknown variables that can fuck up your whole equation. But yet there's that drive in us. But then that's part of it. But then again, it goes back to nature, because it's in our nature to do this. This is we're monkeys, basically. Yeah. We're just better dressed monkeys. And I probably totally ruined your point, Marty.
Again, it goes back to Mary Shelley as well. Like, they create Frankenstein creating the monster, and sadly enough, it probably plays closer into the death of her husband. Percy Shelley was an explorer. He was lost at sea. It's like, we in our search for knowledge, we can end up destroying not only ourselves, but those around us and the world around us.
Yeah, we do more to try to do. Sometimes the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Mm-hmm. There's some truth in that.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's all about do you have the right to do this? It's a great question, because it's a question that we ask in reality all the time. It's presented in these movies, which is great. That's the thing that science fiction does best, is it poses questions that we don't necessarily ask in real life in a fictional sense. Yeah, and you can answer it.
Brian, that is one of the things I was talking. Well, that wasn't directly, but that's another good point you bring up. Because we've joked about this too. Is that the Nazi scientists helping the Russians and the Americans with making rockets in space? America has kind of been a little bit like, oh, we didn't know you were Nazis. They sure as hell knew they were Nazis, but they were so smart. They basically, it was the devil. It was the devil, and they're like, okay, we'll turn a blind eye to these atrocities.
But it wasn't just the space race either, James. Like, Joseph Mengele's research was used by horrible stuff. I suppose it's best that like something good came out, like quote unquote good came out of it, but like things like heart surgery, things like diseases and how to tackle infections. Mm-hmm. Like, a lot of modern medicine, sadly, was salvaged from the horrible shit the Nazis done, and that's kind of, that's the double-edged sword of it.
Yeah, I guess it just depends on your perspective. If it's actually, you can look at it as at least something good came out of it, or you can go, if that wouldn't have happened. But then it's just about a perspective, basically. It's science, like everything else in life, is not so black and white. I guess you get some good with the bad. Mm-hmm. The moral question is, should we have used it or not? What's your take on it?
It's there. Might as well make some good out of it, Probably shouldn't have let them in NASA, though. That probably wasn't a good...
heart surgery has been around since the start of the century, but it was perfected. Safer kind of methods were done as a result.
Yeah, because he was a doctor. He kind of first do no harm, but he kind of messed up that rule. But he was a doctor, and they did. It's a question. It's a morality question. It kind of goes back to what it's more. Marty got it more right than I did. He was saying that our whole it's in our nature. It's in our fucking nature. And the question is do we even fuck around with it? Do we use these tools? Do we go to this other thing?
It's not a case of can we do it. It's a case of should we do it?
Yeah. Yeah, therein lies the morality, and like even sometimes your best intentions. What this reminds me of, and this has nothing to do with mad scientists, but this is very much like Pet Sematary in a way, with Lewis trying to bring his son back, just because he has the opportunity to do it. Should he do it? Same kind of thing, except no science.
Sometimes dead is better.
Yes.
Sometimes dead is better.
Yes.
But yeah, so that's uncomfortable and morality questioning kind of stuff, which leads me to another pair of scientists from another movie that's more morally questionable and very uncomfortable at the end. Splice.
Oh
yeah.
I love that movie, but it's a rough watch.
Clive and Elsa and dear God, don't have sex with your creation that views you as its daddy. Just don't. Just no.
No.
I am shocked. Not in regard to the actual the plot of the movie. But when this movie came out, loads of people liked it. Loads of people loved it because I think it was the guy behind Cube.
It was.
And now, and I'm not pointing any fingers, but I do find a lot of reviewers are kind of just trashing the movie now. I'm like they're like saying, "Oh, it's uncomfortable."
That's kind of the point.
Yeah, movies aren't meant to be comfortable.
No.
Yeah, it's just...
If you want a comfortable movie, go watch some Disney stuff. And there's nothing wrong with the Disney stuff, but sometimes movies are supposed to make you think and make you feel and make you ask uncomfortable questions. I mean, I think that's when a movie makes me uncomfortable, what good or bad, it's doing a job. It's doing its job.
That's the line, Sasha. I love that line. Slapped it on the plastic lunchbox. I just sold it.
It's fucking yeah, like I was on board with that movie until the very end with the pseudo the pseudo
they called her Dern. It was nerd backwards.
Yeah, it just, man, that was bad. Yeah, that's where the movie lost. Thank goodness I didn't buy it. I had rented it out of a red box, so it wasn't a big investment. I don't have to watch it again.
How do you feel about it? You never.
I enjoy Splice. It's not a personal favorite of mine, but I do enjoy it. I think it's kind of an interesting movie that doesn't get talked about enough.
Do you find it uncomfortable?
To a point, but like you said, it's kind of the point of the film is to be challenging. So it's very hard to make me uncomfortable with movies anymore.
That's true.
The other thing that people don't realize as well is, it is literally their child, because if I'm not mistaken, Sarah Polley uses herself and Adrian Brody's DNA in the sequence. Yeah, so
it's literally their kid.
Fucking hell.
Yep.
Their babies are gonna have eyes on the side of their heads, even if she wasn't a mutant.
They'll have to feed her applesauce through a straw. I'm sorry.
But yeah, so from Splice, the uncomfortable of Splice, we move on to the weirdness of it. I know Marty knows this film.
That fucking tennis wearing fish man. That tennis shoe wearing fish man. So this guy wants to be a fish. This is an incredibly low budget movie. He's extracting blood from women. He's mixing up with fish. He turns into a fish. Unfortunately, they weren't the best at shooting it. The camera was pulled back a little too close, and you could see the guy in the fish suit, and he's red sneakers. He's like out in a rampage with his red Reebok sneakers. And it's crazy. It's a crazy movie.
I've never seen it.
Never heard of it.
Fucking movie. You gotta watch it.
Walking episode. You've never heard of that? Oh my God, dude! This is it's a treasure. Dr. Leopold is on a mad tear to make a race of fish people and to get revenge. And first he transforms himself into a fish, but he's got like seaweed hair and he looks sort of like a warthog. and he walks on 2 feet, and he has no fins, but he's a fish. He's a fish. And then he goes about spraying, spraying his solution out of apparently what looks like ketchup bottles.
Yeah, Windex.
You've
never heard of this one, actually. Surprisingly, you stumped me.
And then he decides to kidnap a woman to make a mate, and he promptly kills her when he dunks her in his filthy, disgusting indoor swimming pool.
As you do.
Okay.
As you do. It's a treasure of badness.
It sounds it.
I will
definitely have to check it out.
I'm surprised you've never seen it.
Oh, we've Collector Man in the chat. Hello, Tristan.
Hey, Tristan.
Hey, Tristan.
Welcome.
Oh,
Happy Halloween.
Sasha, I would check. It probably did save it, but it probably saved it to your pictures folder. It seems to default to pictures, so I would check your pictures folder for that. Sorry, I was giving Sasha a tutorial on GIMP earlier before the
That's
stream.
very cool. No biggie.
I'll try and help him out, but yeah. So that, check it out. I don't know where you can watch it. Probably Tubi. I don't know.
It's on
YouTube.
Is it public domain?
No, but I don't think anyone wants ownership of it.
No, it's not public domain because it's not on my magical list, and it would definitely be on my list because it's that bad. It would be on my list.
I get that.
Marty, what I'm hearing is possible trash fire contender in the future.
Oh, shut
Possibly.
Up.
Your mother's
Oh,
gonna
boy.
love me for showing her that.
Oh boy, running around Florida. That's not really Florida.
I mean, the acting makes Nightbeat look like a Scorsese movie. So
Oh, she
I
would
can't
love
wait to
that.
show again.
Oh, you would love that.
I hate you both. You and your big
All right.
mouth.
So we go from creating fish people to creating werewolves out of your strong but mentally slow farmhand. We go to Mad Monster with Dr. Cameron. Guys, have you seen Mad Monster?
I don't think so.
I know I've seen this movie, but I don't remember much about it. I know I saw this movie, though.
Is it an older film?
70s, I want to say.
I've never seen
It's older than that. I think it's early 60s. It's in black and white.
Okay.
A mad scientist. He captures a wolf that looks like a coyote, and
Nice.
he takes the blood out of the wolf / coyote, and he injects it into his mentally slow but really big, strong farmhand. It's like Of Mice and Men meets Frankenstein meets the Wolfman. It's great, and of course. The Mad Monster goes on a mad dash of killing, and it just nothing good comes from it. And it's you want a trash fire movie? This one is it for sure.
It reminds me kind of Night of the Bloody Apes. Is that the one where the surgeon replaces his son's heart with that of a gorilla, and the son turns into a gorilla every once in a while? And kidnaps like female luchadors and tries and has these wicked. Yeah, okay, yeah.
That's the movie.
That sounds a lot like Ape Man.
Kind of does. It kind of does.
Well, Jen, you see Ape Man?
Yeah. I've seen that one. I watched a lot of Commander USA's Groove. The only reason I saw that is Commander USA's Groovy movies. He played it once on a Saturday.
That's the basic premise is a mad scientist he injects himself and accidentally turns himself into an ape man, and he needs to take spinal fluid from his victims and inject it into himself to turn himself back into a person, but he'll always revert to an ape man. So he's constantly having to kill people by taking their spinal fluid. You
It
know,
reminded me of the Hulk a little bit.
I can see that.
His favorite band is Spinal Tap.
it kind of reminds me of Sliders in the later seasons because there's a guy named Rickman who goes around injecting, or he goes around sticking people in the back of the neck with a needle and taking their fluid out of their brainstem and injecting it into himself.
Isn't he the guy who kills John Rhys Davis's character as well? Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Like brain fungus that eats his brain, and like when he does this, he temporarily. I don't know how I don't know how brainstem fluid would do this to your face, but whenever he injects himself with somebody else's brainstem fluid, his face changes to look like them briefly.
Huh.
Yep.
Okay.
Just okay.
Science.
Yeah, science.
That's when you don't have an answer.
Science.
That's great. So that was Mad Monster / Sliders. I got 2 birds with 1 stone.
Nice.
I guess to talk about a more traditional mad science film, or mad scientist / science film, we got to talk about Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Another one, another OG, as you kids say, right? That's what that's the lingo you kids use, right?
If you want a kind of interesting one that no one talks about, and is a bit weird and a bit depressing, but it's really good. I've only seen Mary Riley with John Malkovich and Julia Roberts.
Yes, but it was a billion years ago.
It's a really good fucking adaptation. It is a really good adaptation. If you get a chance, check it out.
I haven't thought about that movie in God forever.
Mm-hmm. It's a good movie. It's very good.
I don't remember much, but I'm gonna have to rewatch that.
You should. It's good. It holds up.
Of course, that was Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. That was trying to get the secret strength buried deep within inside man. Was like the point of that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, some stories had that, and other stories had the Doctor trying to separate the evil, detach the evil from the human soul. Probably my favorite one, absolute bollocks. But Catherine Beswick looks gorgeous in it. Dr. Jekyll's sister Hyde.
Oh my god!
Yeah, like their tits galore. It's like, it's amazing, and it's pretty cool. It kind of theorizes that Jack the Ripper was never caught because he was really a woman.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah. But have you seen that one, Ethel? Dr. Jekyll's sister Hyde.
Yes, a long time ago, but I liked it. It was pretty cool.
Well, you will one day.
I will?
Yeah, you will one day. I have plans for that movie.
The name always sounded kind of stupid.
Yeah.
That's why I've stayed away from it.
Okay, cool.
So I'll breezing through these. So we mentioned that. Another classic we got to mention, and Trenchy will be sad he's not here, but he's got to get some sleep because he was up almost as long as I've been up. The Invisible Man.
Yeah.
Yes.
Love that one.
Yes.
Right.
Are we talking classic Invisible Man, or are we talking remake?
Or Hollow Man.
Or Hollow Man?
Chevy Chase.
Yes.
Or Chevy Chase.
I was talking classic, which featured cutting-edge special effects. I think it was either the first time or one of the first times we saw luma keying in a film, which is the precursor to what we all know and love now is green screen, chroma keying. Difference being you're using black against black, and you're removing it that way optically. Which is cool.
The time, though,
it still holds up.
It mind melts probably the audience. And one thing people don't remember, well, some people do, but what I think they don't take away from it is he was kind of a dick.
I love how he's a jackass. I love how he's
he was Loki before Loki.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm going to rob the trains, and I'm going to do this. And he goes from I'm going to derail trains to I'm going to steal this pair of trousers. and dance down the fucking street. I love that scene. That's good.
Yeah, it's
Like a
kind of
doctor, what a nut. What a nut. So yeah, that's like a classic. You got to mention it. You got to talk about it. Another one that's not super classic, but still classic, I guess now in today's eyes. Dr. Moreau from the Island of Dr. Moreau.
Where's my bucket? Where's my bucket?
Yeah, I love that story. He just saw an ice bucket. I want to wear that.
I will wear this.
Mr. Brando, that's an ice. I'm wearing that fucking ice bucket.
Wasn't there a reason it finally came out that he wasn't because
he was being an asshole because they screwed him. The production basically lied to him. They fired Richard Stanley, who was the main reason he signed on to doing it, and replaced him with someone else.
Hey, Christian, it was a couple of things. His daughter had died.
That too, yeah.
He did not want to be on that set, and to make matters worse, he was pitted against the biggest bollocks in cinematic history, Val Kilmer.
Val Kilmer, who he fucking despised.
And didn't Val Kilmer really look up to him?
In a way, yes, but Val Kilmer didn't have respect for anybody. Yeah, so he just said, "Fuck it, I'm going to destroy this production," and somehow the movie got made.
If you guys get a chance, check out a fantastic documentary called "Lost Soul,"
Island of Lost Souls.
The destruction of the island, Richard Stanley's Island of Dr. Moreau. It's great. It's got contributions. Firuza Balk wanted to drive across Australia to get away from the set. She didn't realize how big the continent was. Jerry Bruckheimer was recorded saying, "If I had to make a biopic on Val Kilmer, I wouldn't have the prick star in it." It's a great documentary. Stanley was so worried he hired a warlock to do a spell, so his interview with the studio would go well.
Yep. Yeah, no, that's a crazy story about that movie.
And the movie is kind of. Is the movie bad? Because there's
but it is fun.
I've always wondered. I don't know because this is not my area of expertise, guys. So I'm not even going to chime in with this.
Okay, three things in its favor. Stan Winston's practical effects.
Yes.
Fucking spot on. David Toulouse, who you might know as Professor Lupin from the Harry Potter movies. Another great addition. And lastly, as disaster as his performance is, you can't take your eyes off Brando.
Brando's mesmerizing.
What's he doing? I want to see what's going to happen next. What the fuck is he doing?
Yeah.
Wasn't it his idea that he should have a mini-me, basically?
Yes, it was.
Obsessed. He became obsessed. With this little actor that had a small bit part role. But he's like, no, he's my duplicate now. And then Brando, apparently Brando paid for the guy to live with him for a year. And this little dude was fucking going around grabbing PA's asses, and he fucking honked Firuza Balk's tits and stuff without her asking, and just he couldn't say anything because he was Brando's little buddy. You couldn't do anything.
Poor Firuza Balk.
Yeah.
She didn't grow up like that. Great actress, though. Great actress. So Island of Lost Souls based on Island of Dr. Moreau is what Brian's asking here in the comments.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But the book is fantastic. If you get a chance, read the book as well.
It is.
Of course, we got Neuroleptic right here. And there's an older version of Dr. Moreau, late 70s, I think, which he hasn't seen, or they haven't seen.
Michael York. I was going to say Tom York, but he's...
No, not Tom York.
Ron York. No, Michael York from Austin Powers. He has a big role in it. And, oh Christ, I forget the other actor. He was in a lot of Westerns. He plays Moreau. Fuck it. Okay. I can't think.
I haven't seen it, so I don't know.
I've seen it, but I can't remember the actor.
So we go from the Island of Dr. Moreau. You go on to another movie that's a remake that has an original that we can talk about both. we've got, of course, The Fly. Got The Fly, original 1958, and we got the remake from the 80s.
Oh, man. Oh, boy. I love both of the Fly movies. I do, but that is one movie, the remake, that even I was like, oh my God, I can't eat.
It's one of the only gross out movies that gets you.
Well, besides that and the scene in Audition.
I get that, yeah.
But yeah, and they both involve vomit, interestingly enough. But yeah, which one is better? Because I always find it fascinating. Do you prefer the Vincent Price one, or do you prefer?
They both have their own qualities.
Oh,
and
Cronenberg.
Yeah, they both have their own qualities that I really appreciate. Like Cronenberg's one of my favorite directors, though, so I probably would lean towards his version. But the 50s one is fantastic as well. Yeah.
And again, the other bad scientist.
Yeah.
Of course, it was great. What a great movie that was, and that wasn't even like the last time, or maybe it was the first time. I forget which came out earlier. That Gina Davis would be paired with Jeff Goldblum.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
what else did they do?
Earth Girls Are Easy.
Earth Girls Are Easy.
They work very well together.
They do.
They work really well together. And then her giving birth to the maggot. Baby.
Maggot baby.
Maggot baby.
Who then becomes a
normal person. Oh my God. Maggot babies.
And then part 2.
Fly 2.
God damn.
Eric, I like that movie.
I do too.
Me do too. It's just that the goddamn dog Floppy.
Yeah, the dog. I love the Cronenberg one, but if out of the two, honestly my favorite Fly movie is 80s Fly 2. I love that fucking movie.
Eric Stoltz.
He becomes like Batman in the end. The corporation are complete bad guys, and he's just fucking solid snaking his shit out of them. And I like the fact they have guard dogs, and he butchers the shit out of the guards, and his big claw-like fucking fly hand just pets the dog in the head and walks off.
Yeah.
And it does suffer from what I do call the big scenario, or the big issue, that the secretary, the sexy secretary, PA, they get together and they have sex. And what age is he, Christian? 10, 11?
It's not as bad as Big. He's like probably like 14, 15, somewhere in there. It's still illegal. Yeah, it's definitely illegal, but he's a little bit older than Big.
But he's so smart, it's like, okay.
I'm not touching that one.
I don't like Sasha. I don't know if you're gonna enjoy The Fly if you see it. It's not really. You don't come to mind when I think of this movie. You might not be in for it.
Sasha, all I'm gonna say is penis in a medical cabinet, in a medicine cabinet. That's all I need to say.
Cronenberg.
But there is the one thing we always look at the gross out aspect of this movie. There's a lot more underneath.
Oh, absolutely! Like every Cronenberg film, there's a lot of subtext and underlying stuff in the film.
Yeah, there is, and it goes back to again. Should we be?
Jane's right though. There's a tragic romance to it as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Even as horrific as he is, Gina Davis still feels sorry for him, and she's reluctant when he's putting like the barrel of the shotgun to his head. She doesn't want to do that. It's like, she loved this man, and he's turned into a monster, like,
Yeah.
I did not want to see how he eats a sandwich. That's like one of the worst parts of the movie.
Yeah, it's
chili, making chili. Can you imagine the Fly making chili?
Ooh.
Oh God. Well, it'd be like that fucking Noah's Ark chili a certain person we know was talking about a while ago.
Oh no, it would.
Oh, we had like 2 of every kind of freaking meat in there.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Gee. Oh yeah, we got the gross out factor. We covered that, so that's sort of like messing with animals, messing with nature kind of mad science. Then there's a weird subcategory to these mad scientist movies. You've got the brains, like mad science movies. That's all about the brain. Like, you got the atomic brain, you got the brain that wouldn't die, you got Brain of Blood. Guys, have you seen Brain of Blood?
No.
No, actually.
I haven't.
Oh, God.
I know they're not human brains, but it is due to scientific tampering. Fiend without a face.
Fiend without a face.
Fiend without a face.
A bunch of interdimensional brains try and kill people. And it's incredibly gory.
It's
super fucking gory for the time. This is like a 50s B movie. And there's brains being shot, exploding, and there's gore going everywhere. If you haven't seen Fiend without a face, what are you doing? Fucking watch it. Watch it.
Absolutely.
I've never
You'd like it. You would like it.
Never seen it.
Yeah. Of course, but you're circling back to Brain of Blood. If you guys haven't seen that, there's your trash fire candidate right there.
I haven't seen that one either.
Nor have I.
Basically, a dictator hires a mad scientist to take his brain because he's terminally ill, to take his brain out of his body and to put it in the body of a healthy person. And the mad scientist can do this. He has a procedure, and he does this. But the problem is they couldn't find somebody suitable in time. So he ends up taking his deformed assistant who had hillbillies throw battery acid on his face, and he's kind of slow, and cutting his brain out and sticking this guy's brain in there. And he goes crazy. He goes crazy, and he's friggin' killing people, man. Because for some reason, even though he's got the dictator's brain in his head, he starts becoming the simple, I don't know, like you can't say, I don't know how you say it, slow, mentally challenged, mentally different. I don't know the politically correct way to say it, but you know, it's another of Mice and Men type character.
What makes it a candidate for Trash Fire Cinema? Because this actually sounds kind of compelling. It's just not executed very well.
It's really bad. Like they transport the dictator to the mad scientist by wrapping him in aluminum foil. It's I don't even know what to say.
They turned him into a burrito.
Yeah, he's a 7-Eleven burrito.
Jesus he looks like a burrito from a taco truck. He's wrapped in aluminum foil.
Okay.
Yeah, it's one of these foreign films. It's just bad, but it's bad, but it makes it good. And of course, the atomic brain. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
Yes.
I'm not familiar. Sorry.
Haven't seen that one.
That's about an old woman who lives in a mansion, and she has a mad scientist that works for her called Dr. Frank, and she hires a maid. And she hires the maid with the express purpose of basically brain transplant. She wants to be young and beautiful again. And they've done a few series of experiments. They've taken the brain of a cat and they've put it in one of the maids that she's hired before. Yeah.
I knew Jordan Peele got the idea from Get Out from somewhere. I fucking knew it.
Oh shit, you're right.
It might not be too far off.
There's that one. That's an experience. There's also The Brain That Wouldn't Die, which you guys probably have seen because I think Kara of Horror Retrospectives has uploaded that a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
I've seen it.
It's a classic.
Yeah, that one's public domain, so you could probably watch that one. That's on the list.
Ooh,
oh, cool.
That would be fun.
For those of you that don't know, there's a scientist or a doctor. Actually, he's a medical doctor, but it still qualifies as mad scientist. Dr. Kortner, and he's trying to experiment with transplants. He wants to transplant organs and stuff. He's got a sidekick that's got a deformed arm. It's like this. It's all like gnarled and wrenched, and he's trying to perfect his experiments. And him and his fiance go to his laboratory, his cottage with the laboratory. And for whatever reason, on his way there, he starts driving crazy. I think it's because there's an experiment that might get loose, and he's trying to go and stop it from getting loose, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So he starts driving like a madman, and surprise, surprise, they get in a car accident, and her head is severed. And from that point on, she spends the rest of her movie with her neck in a lasagna dish.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah. That's a fun one.
That is a fun one.
Let's see, what else do I got on my little list of things to talk about? Oh, here's one nobody ever seems to talk about. Misfits even wrote a song, called it "Die Monster Die."
You know it, don't you?
I do. I admittedly only know about it because of the Misfits song, but yes, I've seen it.
I haven't.
It's a movie.
What's it? Lay it on me.
Oh God. Fuck. It's been ages.
Is it about a monster that dies?
Yes, it's about a monster that dies. Smart ass.
I was trying to help you.
All right, I can illuminate this.
Yeah, you've probably seen it more recently than I have, Ethel. It's been like 5 or 6 years.
Nick Adams, who was in Invasion of the Astro Monsters, a great Godzilla film, he stars in this, and he goes to see his fiance at her house and meet her father and her mother, and of course his fiance is a Whitley. She lives at the Whitley house, and he arrives into town. And he wants to find out where the Whitley house is because his flight arrived early or something, and he wants to get there. Nobody will take him to the Whitley house. He can't get a cab. He can't get a ride. He can't rent a bike. No one wants him to even go to the Whitley house. So he has to walk to the Whitley house, and I guess it's a few miles, which he seems pretty pissed off about. Which I guess I'd be pretty pissed off too. You're not even gonna rent me a bike. And he gets there and he's greeted by Boris Karloff.
That's right.
Who is not happy to see him, but his fiance's there and she's delighted to see him. And basically, Karloff has a secret. Mr. Whitley's got a secret in the greenhouse, and it's giant tomatoes and giant plants and friggin' crazy ass radiation.
Giant things.
Giant plants. Giant monsters.
And that's not even the most surprising thing about the film. I don't want to spoil it, but this radiation, it comes from a meteor from space.
That's right.
Of course, from
space.
I need to rewatch this movie.
Where else did the meteor come from, in fairness, Jen?
True.
Vermont.
True.
I got a meteor from Vermont.
It could have come from space. It could have vacationed on the bottom of the sea, and he could have got it from there.
That's true.
Good point. I apologize, Jen.
But no, this meteor, it's hit his property smack dab, kind of close to the greenhouse. And he discovered some amazing things about it and keeps it in his basement. Naturally, of course you're going to do that.
Yes, you do.
Why not?
Yes, you do.
Where else are you going to
At least it's not a teenage girl.
Oh, yes. But the ending's very surprising, and I don't want to ruin it because it's actually a pretty cool effect, and it's actually a pretty good ending, really, for what was shaping up to be sort of a movie.
Gotcha.
No, it's coming back. Yeah.
Much like Celine Dion, it's all coming back to you now.
And boy, let's see, what else do we got on the list? I'm almost out of movies. I've been going through them pretty quick because I know I don't have a whole lot of time left on my stream. I think I'm gonna be like 20 minutes or less than 20 minutes. See, oh, we got The Unearthly. You guys remember The Unearthly?
No.
Sorry.
Oh, that's a Tor Johnson classic.
Ooh.
You need more Tor Johnson in your life.
Tor Johnson and John Carradine. The
Ooh.
voice.
That is a perfect match.
John Carradine.
That is the best match.
Basically, John Carradine is a scientist. Same trope. Tor is his strong, big, strapping boy of an assistant. A little slow on the uptake. Okay. And, injects him with stuff. Of course you do. And yeah, that's basically the plot. It's kind of a real slow movie, but I felt like I had to mention it here because nobody talks about it.
I get that.
And I like to talk about the things that other people don't talk about.
Keeps the monotony away.
Yeah.
Keeps the monotony away.
Yeah. So we mentioned the Ape Man. Die Monster Dies. That. Where was it? Oh yeah, you guys talked about this movie recently on Trash Fire. I had to mention it. Human Centipede.
I was wondering if this was going to come up. I was wondering if this was going to come up.
He just misses his dog.
His dog. He sews some people's mouths to some people's orifices.
Their ass. He sold them to their ass. Let's not beat around the bush.
They're a news.
No,
this is ass to mouth in real life. No, not in real life. In science fiction.
You never go after them.
Never advice, but it is.
Is he? Question for the whole group: is he? Because most scientists, even if they're crazy, most scientists, at least in their own mind, think they're doing something great for humanity. Or
no, he's just crazy. That's always been my
thought.
He's
fucking nuts. Jen,
but I mean,
There's
what
no
value could people being so has to contribute to society?
Well, I mean, 3 answers had a question.
We're talking about the first one.
Okay, fine then.
No.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
The guy's a fucking sadist.
He's just
he
crazy. That's all. He's just crazy.
You don't think there's something?
No.
Because he does. I mean, we go back again. We're going back to the good old Nazis because, of course, we are. He does get Marty. You and I talked about this on Trash Fire. There's a scene where he gets very excited when he asks if there was any. With the girls, were they related in any way? Which goes back to the Nazis' fascination with twins and Mengele and all of that.
Mengele, yeah.
Yes, it does. Do you think maybe it was some sort of medical thing, like maybe because as a doctor that is challenging to have to do?
Okay. Jen, what absolute genuine benefit to the individuals involved, to larger society, to larger medical, no, this guy was a cat with a fucking mouse that he tore its legs off and he was playing with. All there is to it. He had the ability, he had the means. That's what he did. That was it.
And he missed his dog.
He missed his dog mostly.
He missed his dog. Which is great. I love the way Trenchy framed that for all of us when he mentioned it. It's about his dog.
It could be like a different way for eating, like a.
Why are you trying to rationalize?
No, you can't
fictional characters.
No,
I'm not.
Nuts.
I just like to play devil's advocate sometimes.
I know. Even for you, though.
Wow.
Are you taking up the bar? Are you going to be like? You're going to be a lawyer and that's your case? That's your dream case?
No, nothing like that.
Who stole people's lips to someone else's arsehole?
I always wondered if there was some merit, and doing some research for the episode, I know that it was mostly started as a joke for how they would handle a pedophile. Although I guess that could be an avenue you could go for punishment. But again, these people did not deserve what they got. If you're going to do that, they should have taken something from 3 and used prisoners. There could be something here if you really look hard enough.
No.
Ethel, did Eddie Jessup, Dr. Edward Jessup, make it onto the list?
No, he didn't. Do you want to elaborate? Because I'm not ringing a bell for a second here.
Okay, so there's this fantastic movie called Altered States.
Yeah.
It makes 2000 AD look, or no, not 2000 AD. Monolith movie. Space Odyssey looked like a fucking children's book. Eddie Jessup wants to learn how to enhance the genome. So he takes a shitload of drugs, exposes himself to an epileptic-inducing machine, and figures out particular light sources and drugs in a particular sequence can de-evolve him. So he turns himself into a Neanderthal. Then he realizes, well, if I put it in the reverse sequence, I can evolve myself to the point where I transcend existence, and I can possibly see the deity that we see after death, which turns out to be a man with a goat's head and 6 eyes crucified to a cross. Yep. It's a fucking insane movie. If you have never seen Altered States, watch it.
Yes.
It's fucking awesome. William Hurt gives a brilliant performance, and it's absolute fucking crackers. If you haven't seen it, you gotta check it out.
No, I've never seen it.
Have you seen that one, Ethel?
No, I haven't.
No, I haven't.
Brilliant.
I'm fucking Russell.
I'll have to check it out though. But yeah, that's the list, guys. And I think I'm gonna wind it down just a wee bit early since I started just a wee bit late, and I've exhausted my list. So it'll be good. Let me see who's coming up next on the conga line. Next up, we have we got horror retrospective, and then we got huh?
I said very cool. After horror retrospective, who do we have after that?
We got Marty's watch along for Night of Living Dead.
That's Marty, right.
And I will be there.
I can't believe my girlfriend forgot I was on tonight.
I didn't forget.
God, terrible girlfriend.
I just couldn't remember the lineup. I can't remember the lineup. I couldn't. I thought you were a couple more down the road for some reason. I don't know why.
You're a terrible girlfriend.
But so follow the link at the bottom of the thing. She'll be up pretty soon. You got a little bit extra time. Get a snack. And follow these people that have joined me today. Follow Trash Picture Show. Check his stuff out. Check Jen's reviews in the grave. Jen and Kristen, check them out. Thank you to everybody in the chat. We had DMC, we had Sexy Monkey, we had Brian, Kubrick Lover, we had Night Watch Stone, we had who else do we have?
I know we had other people.
Jennifer Tochi,
Ben Grimm.
Yeah, Full Moon. We had Full Moon and Jennifer Tucci, Ben Grimm.
Collector Man, yeah.
Collector Man. We had Tristan, Collector Man, who's also later on tonight.
Yes,
so,
he's going to be doing an amazing trivia contest.
Yeah, so all these people like and stuff, and follow along.
Oh, and DMC's that was also in.
Yeah, Campbell.
Campbell was in.
DMC Campbell. So check him out. But yeah, so thank you for watching, everybody, and I'll see you later on tonight. Follow link, conga line. Adios.
Jump in.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.